energy factor. This is for different size houses. We have, this is just a simple chart based on our actual case studies of what percentage of the floor area of the house needs to be in solar panels. Now for small houses, you're going to see it's a pretty big percentage. About 25% of your floor area needs to be in, south-sloping, south-facing roofs. Or it could be in a ground mount or trellis or whatever it is. The larger the house, the smaller the percentage of your house needs to be in solar panels. The reason for that is small houses have a kitchen, have a laundry room, have a big screen TV, have most of the things a big house has in terms of producing or utilizing electricity. As the larger the house, it gets spread out a little bit. So it's easier to do a net zero energy house on a, in terms of the panel area on a larger house. I mean, it just tends to be a little bit easier, but with some good planning on a small house, it can certainly happen too. Our goal here is to have the architects think early on in the process. Once you know the square footage of the house, here's just a simple guide to say, look, I want to have a south-sloping roof that can't be seen from the street or anywhere else where the panels can be. I mean, look, solar panels look like solar panels, and on their best day, they maybe look like a skylight. But either way, you want to avoid seeing them if you can, and it's kind of up to the architects to figure out a nice design where the solar panels can be hidden. At least that seems to work out best. Okay, so how does this process work? Again, it's a nice, simple deal. We receive plans. Often it comes with the energy compliance already done, and we encourage that. And so we review the space conditioning domestic hot water loads based on the code. We then take it and issue our power consumption worksheets for both standard and non-standard usage. And this is kind of a fun part because the owners then take a look at that. They give us input based on, we're going to use this much more or that much less. We don't really listen to the that much less part because we want to make sure that if they sell that to some other kind of standard person, the house would still be net zero energy. But then again, at the end, it's their house, and if they, they're going to put in the solar system they think is right. At any rate, but once we have a copy of the plans and we get some input on our standard power consumption worksheets, we can calculate the total kilowatt hours required and issue a preliminary report saying, okay, here's how many kilowatt hours you need, here's how many, and here's what it's going to be, here's how big the solar system needs to be to make this work. And again, we can do this really early in the process. So we can sit down with the architect and say, look, we need 600 square feet at this property. Again, is there a ground mount spot? Is there a trellis we can work in here? Or is there just a roof area? Or, well, they want to put it on a flat roof section. So we're going to need a little bit more area, but it can all work out. During construction, we review the mechanical and solar plans done by whatever engineering company or mechanical company that's on the job, and also review the HERS inspection reports to make sure everything is in line, as well as at the end, the HERS inspection report on the PV production. In the end, we've got this great scorecard, certificate, job signs, that sort of thing to make it look nice and official. Okay, so why would a homeowner, why would one of your clients be interested in doing a net zero energy house now? Because it's cost-effective today. I mean, right now, today, it's cost-effective. Will solar come down in price next year? Yeah, it probably will, but the incentives won't be as good. Or I think today, if we can keep solar numbers where they are now, the 30% federal tax credit is good for like 2018 or whatever it is, or 2016. It's good for quite a while. The rebates are scheduled to come down in price, especially for remodels, but for new homes, it's still pretty good. It's still actually very good. And so, but, PV may come down in price, a few more, 10, 20, 30%, but the rebates will probably, falter a little bit. So the payback numbers now are probably as good as they're going to get. Keep in mind, once you've put in a grid-tied solar electric system, they're going to go down in production, 0.5% a year or something. It's pretty minor. But your energy costs are probably going to go up 5% a year. That's what's happened the last 15, 20 years, and that's what's projected. So as energy costs continue to rise, greater savings will occur. We've worked for about 100 different homeowners, and we've kind of defined 3 different parts to them, or 3 different types. You've got one type who goes, I want to be green, I want to reduce my carbon footprint, global warming is a huge issue to me, yada, yada. On the other side, you've got people who really want to be energy independent. They really want our country to be energy independent. And the idea of building a net zero energy house, just they love that idea from more of a kind of an Old West type standpoint. And so I figure you get about 20% of the people who are onto the, reducing their carbon gaseous emissions, and you get other people who just want to be energy independent, another 20% on the other side. You get about 60% in the middle who just want to do something smart, who want to do something that's a good investment, who know that planning for this early is probably better than doing it later. And it doesn't matter which type of client you have. They're all going to like this idea because it meets all of those goals. Saves a ton of carbon dioxide gaseous emissions, saves a ton of money, and also makes it so you're energy independent. At any rate, so the homeowner usually feels he's being responsible and showing a good example. The owner also feels a sense of independence. He feels superior to his neighbors and friends. The more energy efficient a house is often perceived to be of higher quality and healthier. Energy efficient homes tend to have better and faster resale, and like I mentioned, reduces our country's somewhat indirectly reduces our country's dependence on foreign oil, as well as people who have climate concerns. Okay, what's in it for the architect? This is never going to work. None of this will work without the architects, on board and figuring out how to make the panels, to where the location of the panels can be. So at any rate, for the architects, you're providing a service that your customers need, value, and will appreciate. This is a straightforward, attainable project goal. There's no fluff here. There's no, kind of extraneous issues. It's all about energy. By planning for solar contribution, the architect retains aesthetic control of the system, location, and appearance. Here's what's going to happen. If the architect doesn't plan for this in the beginning, or I'm going to say doesn't, but it would be nice if they did. If you don't, what happens is 3/4 through the job, the homeowner looks up and says, hey, I want a solar system. Next thing you know, it's right in the middle of the, it's right in front of the house, and it maybe doesn't look as good as it could be. The other thing is that what we're trying to do here is something that's very, very cost effective. And we believe, and I think the more we see, the more we do believe this, that for more or less the cost of lead paperwork, you can install a net zero energy certified system that will produce all the energy that house needs for 30 years. Going back to that thing about the Prius, I forgot to mention, that solar system, which is going to save that guy all that money every year, that's going to happen for 30 years. The Prius is going to last, 5, 10 years or whatever it is. Keep in mind that, I think this is a good idea. I think voluntarily, I think people are going to flock to this in good numbers. But even if they don't, the state's taking care of that, or at least they're trying to, by having homes be net zero energy later this decade. And believe it or not, there's already some talk in some jurisdictions that building moratoriums based on carbon dioxide gaseous emissions. I'm in Monterey, where we've had a water moratorium for new water hookups for 20 years. They talk about sewer. They're always thinking of ways to have figuring out a way to take people's property rights away. And this, trust me, this will come up. It's already happening in one jurisdiction up in Northern California. Okay, so we've got this great website, netzeroenergycertified.com. I think it's also NZEC.net. And if you get a chance, check out the website. If you want to become a member, it's really quite affordable. Pretty much all the money that we've collected has gone towards writing case studies. We're producing a video and trying to get as much publicity as we can on this sort of thing. I did want to mention, I did want to mention that there's another webinar on Tuesday on the air-to-water heat pumps that that you guys, maybe especially mechanical contractors and solar contractors may definitely, want to, they may want to check out. I thought I had a slide here, but I didn't. At any rate, there's a couple questions. I'll try to get through these if I figure out how to do it. Actually, I can't. So sorry about that. If you have questions, either you can email me at dave@meg4, D-A-V-E, @MEG, the number 4, or you can call me up at area code 831-372-8328, and I'm extension 12. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you later. Adios.